Hi everyone, this is Bella from Unlock Your Design. It's time for a new Gene Key horoscope. We're also weaving astrology. This is a powerful week. We have the solstice. We also have a change from the sun in Sagittarius to the sun in Capricorn. So starting the Capricorn season, we're going to have a new moon as well in Capricorn. We have Chiron going direct as well on the solstice, which is going to be a powerful energy forward after a time looking back at maybe some of our wounding and the possibility to step into more of our authority, more of our leadership. We have Chiron, like you can see here, in the 21st Gene Key. So that's somewhere we're ready now to move into more of that energy of initiation and that energy of detachment and actually celebration, even as we have surpassed some of those difficulties that we have worked with for several months now when Chiron has been retrograde. So I want to start to speak to you about the main archetype this week. You can see here as the week is starting on Tuesday morning, we have the first line, and then all the way through Sunday, we're going to be in this archetype, 10th Gene Key, and Sunday, it's the 6th line. So about the 10th, we call it the natural in the 64 doors. This is the gate of the behavior of the self, has to do with self-love. It's the hexagram in the I Ching that we call treading. And in the Gene Keys, we have the shadow of self-obsession, we have the city of being, and the pathway of naturalness. I was mentioning Capricorn before. So Capricorn is the 10th sign, and in modern astrology, we also relate it to the 10th house. It is the wise elder, the teachers, and it also is connected to our ancestors. Here we have service to others through the grounded intent to preserve planet Earth. The 10th house has to do with achievement in the world, authorities, public life, recognition, guides, career, or vocation. We can see here that Saturn is the ruler of Capricorn. Capricorn is cardinal Earth. It's the trunk and roots that provide organic structure and reach into the lineage of our ancestors. Going back to the astrology, we're starting the week with the moon in Scorpio. It's going to go through Sagittarius, Capricorn, where it meets with first the sun and then all these planets. And on Sunday, it's going to already be in Aquarius. The moon is moving fast. It takes 2.5 days to go through a sign. Here on Tuesday, it's in opposition to the North Node and Uranus. I do feel that there are some of those themes with where the nodes have been for the last few months in Taurus and Scorpio, where we're asked to let go of the themes of the South Node. Scorpio is intense. It can hold on to some feelings of betrayal, of things in relationship that didn't go well, where there has been a lack of trust, for example. And it's asking us to look at those inner waters, those emotional waters, and see, is there anything that we can let go of, anything that we don't need to carry anymore? And it's looking towards Taurus. But when we have the moon in Scorpio, that's more of that subjective experience. So there can definitely be a bit of that emotional roller coaster as the moon is in Scorpio and then Uranus on the other side. I would say find your calmness, sit still in the boat, feel what you feel, but don't necessarily act on your emotions as usual. What we say, whenever there is emotions moving, it's really a time to just feel into it before we make decisions, before we speak, before we do anything. Towards the evening, probably there's already going to be a little bit of that calmness just naturally, because we have the North Node in Taurus. Any kind of self-care, anything that includes the senses is really good on Tuesday, just to give you that stability, that groundedness that Taurus has, which can calm as well. Scorpio is a sign of transformation. We have Jupiter also in a water sign in the last degrees of Pisces that can help with that forgiveness, that moving on, that moving beyond. There's also an aspect between Venus and Aries. There's some tension there. I feel that Venus is asking us, what do you value? What is your foundation? What needs to be restructured before we can moving on in a more empowered way, before this true authority comes in and we move on. Like we said, the initiative or something new and more empowered for us. Tuesday is a 1-3 day. It has to do with personal empowerment. It has to do with creativity, How are you the creator in your own life? How can you engage in relationships that are win-win? And that's where I feel that there can be a little bit of waves with that opposition with Scorpio and Taurus, with the moon in Scorpio. So seeing through that and feeling into what are the true relationships that are worthy of my time and of my energy and of my heart. The first line, what doesn't want to be a loner. It wants to engage with others where actually there is a empowerment of self for both people. That's really what a win-win is. And then we have a third line, the radius and the purpose, which has to do with movement. So whatever you do that day, another way of dealing with some of that emotional energy can be to move your body. The third line loves dynamic movement, the blood circulation, feeling the aliveness of the body, the dynamism, the playfulness. The 46 wants to feel into the form. We have this gate of the central that really wants to be in it completely, saying completely yes to the experience. When we move on to the inner part of the chart, we see that we now have the core wound in the first line. There can be something that's repressed and wants to come up to the surface. When we look at relationship, it's a question to see, okay, where are those relationships where I'm empowered? Where are those relationships where I dare to be myself, the 10th Jinki, and the first line of self-empowerment? It's going to be important to feel into the people in your community, your tribe, and again, those win-win relationships where you dare to be in your uniqueness. We have a first line SQ. Where do you feel safe? Around which people do you feel grounded? And then a first line in the EQ. So that's when you're relating to the other. Do you feel your self-esteem? Do you feel like you are growing? Or do you actually feel like the energy in those relationships might even make you kind of sabotage for yourself? And we still have a strong theme of acceptance and universal love. And important to understand that acceptance doesn't mean to not have any boundaries. Acceptance really means that we can see things for what they are. And instead of allowing them to make us hard or make us close, we actually remain open. We don't necessarily stay where there is constriction, where there is, in a way, nothing to share, nothing to play with, third line, nothing to mirror. Nobody wants to be there on the other side, raw, innocent, in their beauty, in their uniqueness. So the 25 has that discernment. Where can we share love? Where can we have reciprocity? And those are the main energies for Tuesday.